Alright, so we've learned that lots of cultures embellish eggs. We're going to do a great big paper egg embellishment. First, you lay down this piece of felt and then write your name and class code on the back of the paper. Then we're going to flip it over. Now, I've printed off some line ideas for you because what we're going to do now is we're going to draw some lines across the egg, which will divide up the egg into different spaces, and we can put a shape pattern in each of those spaces. So some lines are thick, some are zigzag, some are squiggly, some are wavy. Whatever kind of lines you want to put on will be just fine. Alright, after you've done all the lines, then you're going to come up with a shape pattern. Now remember, a pattern goes A, B, A, B, or in this case, it's going to go diamond. Right now it's not a pattern, it's just a line of diamonds, right? It just goes diamond, diamond, diamond. And I fill all of those in nice, and I'm pushing down on my crown so it's really filled in well. And because I want it to be an A, B pattern, I'm going to pick out another color, and then I'm going to pick out a shape. Let's see, what color should I use? I think I'm going to use just red hearts. That's fun. And I put those in between. So it goes diamond, heart, diamond, heart, diamond. And that's a pattern, isn't it? Okay, now for my next space, I'm going to pick out two new colors and two new shapes. Green, square, and then my next shape will be purple circle, and green square, and purple circle, and then I color those in really nice and neatly. Alright, and time for a new shape pattern. What's another shape I could use here? I think I'm going to use trapezoid. So I'm going to draw my trapezoid, and then another color, a red triangle, and then a yellow trapezoid, red triangle. What comes next? That's right, yellow trapezoid. And then again, you want to color it in really nicely and neatly. Color it all the way in, very nicely, very neatly, and because that's going to be really important later. So we're going to get this whole egg colored in. We're going to use a special painting technique. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring in the rest of my shapes, and I'm going to create my two other shape patterns, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to paint these. Right, now it's time to paint. We've got these liquid watercolors, but regular watercolors would work too. What we're going to do is we're going to put the watercolors right over our very well colored in crowns. And then we just blot the paint. And then the paint will soak up into the towel. You can use a paper towel if you don't have a regular towel. And see, when I blot it, then that crayon is a wax and it resists the liquid of the watercolors. It resists the water because wax and water, they don't like each other. And so they will try to get away from each other. And see how nicely and neatly I'm painting inside my spaces. I'm staying inside the lines that I created. I want to keep these nice and neat and organized and paint nicely and neatly inside of your spaces. All right, I'm going to finish up painting. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. And we're going to leave the background just white, nice and clean, so that we really focus on our egg, because we want the egg to be the emphasis of our work of art. So see how that green doesn't show up at all? Well, when I use my towel and I blot it, you'll see that the green squares will really show up and look really fantastic. Alright, one last blot, and then there you go. See, you have a beautiful decorated egg shape. At the end of the book we read, the main character won a quilt, and so we're going to make a paper quilt. First, we're going to fold our paper. Fold it in half long ways like this, making a nice crease, and then fold it in half sideways, and fold it in half sideways again. So now you have a square, so we're going to go back to a rectangle now, folding against that seam. There we go, just like that. And when we open it up, we'll have 8 even squares. Then have your teacher check it to make sure that you folded correctly. And when it's checked, carefully draw on those folds. Carefully draw a line in a single color of your choice on those folds. Now you get to fill in each square with a line and shape pattern, and you get to totally pick out whatever lines and whatever shapes you want for each one of your squares. So you will come up with 8 different patterns, just like we see patterns on cloth. And that's how quilts are put together, is they take different cloth patterns and put them all together to make one big quilt. Alright, I'm going to use super duper fast forward mode to show you how I make 8 different patterns. Now that we have all the patterns drawn in wax crown, we're going to use this paint dye to color in the background. Paint it in, dab it dry, and the wax resists the dye. Paint it in, pat it dry, and the wax resists, leaving that beautiful background color and your line pattern showing up really well. Now you do want to make sure that the color you use for your background is not at all the same color you used for your line pattern. Now there I wanted my yellow to be darker, so I added another 2 or 3 layers of yellow, and that kind of darkens it up and kind of makes it brighter. Alright, I'm going to go into super duper fast forward mode here so that you can see how I paint in all of my squares, all different colors, so it looks like a bright, beautiful quilt. Alright, the last step is you're going to get a blue background to show that this is outdoors, or next to a window or something, and you're going to write your name and your class code. So here is my name and kindergarten, whatever your class code is. Okay. Cut it out, and you're going to cut your egg out carefully. So if you've got any paint on the outside of your egg, that is okay, because we are carefully cutting our egg shape out all along. And I'm cutting it out in super duper fast forward mode. You will do careful cutting. Then at the bottom of your page, the bottom of the back of your quilt, you're going to do one line of glue, because we're going to be tucking our egg into our quilt so that it stays warm. Okay? Because remember, if it's an egg with a baby in it, it needs to stay warm. But if it's just a decorated egg, though, you can just have it in the basket. Okay, so I'm then going to, let's see, do I want my egg tucked in, or do I want my egg on top? That's a choice you get to make. So glue it around the edge of your paper, decide where you're going to put your egg, and glue that down.